G'day chunky chili dudes and dudettes, and welcome back to another episode of Son of a Chunk. The chili hasn't fallen far from the tree. Thank you so much for joining me today. I can't wait to break it in for you for this video and talk about what's going on in front of me. So without further ado, let's get through the intro and we'll talk about it right afterwards. But as the man says himself,
I'm the chunky chili dude. I'm on with the heat.
on with the heat. Fantastic. Look forward to seeing you right after the intro. Alright chunky chili dudes and dudettes, and welcome back to another episode of Son of a Chunk. The chili hasn't fallen far from the tree. So there's a lot that's been happening in the house of chili over the last few weeks. A couple of cool surprises, a couple of new additions to the family here. I won't be going into too much depth with that one unless they wake up later on. But we have a lot that's going on in front of us, plus a lot that's been going on behind me in the garden of chili. As you can see, we've had some herbs restored from those pesky neighbours that decided to chew through our plants. We've updated our plants as well. We've got plenty of seeds on the way that have come through, and I can't wait to discuss all of those, as well as getting those plants ready in the garden for what looks like it's going to be a very fruitful season. We've got Tabasco's looking really, really good. The Carolina Reapers are planting and germinating really, really well. Our Firecracker chili is looking great. Our habaneros are starting to power up, which is looking great. And our herbs have really taken the place. So we've got some really good fruits and flavors coming through these gardens. It's going to be so exciting. I can't wait for when the fruits start to drop and we can actually start to make our fermenting sauces. And I can't wait for you guys to see all that along the way. We're so excited here in the House of Chili that we've gone nuts with our seeds. And now let's talk about this, because this has been a chaotic crisis in which what we've got in front of us. Now, the last time we spoke, I told you guys about how, I'll probably put the video up here, about how this soil pot in front of me may have took a turn for the worse and spilt out everywhere, losing all of its seeds. So we weren't too sure what we've put back in this pot or what we've got in here, but we've decided to call it and rename it the mystery pot. So this mystery pot in front of us has got about 5 or 6 different seeds that have already started to seed up and into their second leaves. I don't know what they are. I really don't know. They could be Carolina Reapers, they could be Butcherlokias, they could be Trinidad Scorpions, they could be Chocolate Habs. We don't know. The whole pot has gone absolutely topsy-turvy, and I think I kind of like it. It's a bit of an excitement for the page, as well as a bit of an excitement to see what happens over the next few months, to see what it actually turns into, and then we can kind of deliberate and find out what's going on. So we're going to rename them Mystery Pod 1, Mystery Pod 2, Mystery Pod 3. The good news about this is that it's prime best for transport. So it's not going to have to worry about transport shock when we just cut the koi peat and plant as is. The koi peat will dissipate, and then eventually the seeds will take over and grow through. So we are going to have an absolute hopeful 100% success rate with these pods and see what's going on. Now, I will zoom into the camera in a second and you'll be able to see some stuff. Hopefully I'll be able to get the audio and everything right, but you'll be able to see in one of the pods just down here, we've got a seed that is germinated, but the seed has popped out of the ground. So hopefully we can get that one to turn in. We've also got 2 right here above each other that have started to get their second leaves, and we've got one that's growing really, really well. So we're at 4 so far for our seeds inside our mystery pod. And I have seen a couple of other seeds poking their ugly heads out of the soil, and we have replanted them. So in the coming 10 to 13 days, we might see some extra plants coming through. So really excited to see how they're going to be coming along. Looking forward to seeing what they turn into, and we're going to do something different. So obviously, some of the gardens we've got here in the chili farm, they've been good, but we are starting to see a bit of struggling of soil depth. So we're not be able to get that filtration properly through some of the soil areas. So some of the gardens we are going to be doing is going to be some flower gardens. We're going to be planting some fresh marigolds at the end of this video. So I'll show you about the bulb that we've got there and the fresh seeds and what we're going to do with that. But we are going to start to do some raised bed gardens just so we can guarantee some success in some of our growth. The problem we're seeing at the moment is we're getting stunted growth with some of our plants, which aren't getting as high as what they should be getting. Now, Carolina Reaper trees, Tabasco trees, I should be looking at 1 meter to 1.2 meters for their growth. At the moment, we're still sitting around that 40 to 50 centimeter area. So they're just not getting enough growth because of how much they're stunted within the soil, being that the soil is so shallow in the ground. The roots have to go sideways rather than down, which is not giving it its opportunity to really plant and go up. So we're hoping that they will still stay a short fruit kind of bonsai look of a tree, which will still give us what we need. But at the same token, we want to get that little bit of extra growth. So we're going to put ourselves in some raised garden beds just along the fence line, which we're going to go through in the coming weeks. And we'll be able to get those trees up and going. So it's going to look really, really good, especially when we get these plants in under their third leaves. It's going to look fantastic. Oh, I'm so excited. I can't wait to rip in them. Now, we've talked about the mystery pods. We've got all 4 of our mystery pods here. I want to take you over and show you something else that we've got currently going on at the moment. Now, you probably might be able to see one of them saying hello to us today in this video, but I don't think there's just one. There's 11 that we need to just start talking about, and that is our Carolina Reapers. Now, this has been absolutely insane. Now, I talked in one of the videos about how highly I rate Mr. Fothergills and how great all of the products are with Mr. Fothergills. This has just gone above and beyond for its expectation. Now, I'm going to show you the video in a second and show you where the success is currently right now with these. But I've got 3 Grow Your Own Carolina Reaper pods here, and I've got 4 successfully germinated seeds in pod number 1. In number 2, I have 2 that have already got the NPK fertilizer in it, and they're already starting to display their seconds leaves. And that is looking fantastic. They do need a bit of watering, but we're going to get that in a second. And then pod number 3, we've actually got 2 that have just started to sprout out, and the 3rd one along the way. So we've got quite a few Carolina Reaper plants to plant. We're going to do some different things with these ones, and we're going to plant them in all different ways. Now, obviously, the last problem we had in the prior video is we transported them too early and they got transport shock. I kind of want to do things a little bit differently. I want to see how we can try to transport them without losing that shock in interest. So there's going to be 3 different ways we're going to transport it. We're going to cut the first pod open and plant it as it is. The second pod, we are going to just pop the base open and let the roots go straight down and through, and then have that little container carry the plant through until it needs to be obviously a full tree. And the third one, we're going to do something completely different. So we're going to do completely cut open. We're going to do open from the base and get it out. And then in the third one, we're going to see how long we can actually grow them for inside the pods before the roots become insane. And then we're going to see what we can need to do from there. See if we can actually just take it straight out and transport it itself. But we want to make sure we get to full leaves by that stage. Now, there's going to be some other problems along the way that we're going to face. And that's one of the things is just the kind of way in which the roots are going to work in each other. Maybe we're going to have to sacrifice 1 or 2 plants and take the healthiest plant out. Now, that does sound a little bit disheartening considering we are doing so well with our Reapers. We want all of our Reapers to flourish, but there is going to have to be a time we're going to have to make a hard decision on, we can't make all the plants sustain viability inside their pods. We're going to have to remove some for one to be able to successfully grow. So we're going to be keeping a close eye on them in the next few weeks to see how they go. With this one here though, I'm pretty confident that they're spread far apart enough that they'll be able to plant and tree successfully. Whereas something like this one here, where we've got 4 or 5 and 2 in group session, I just don't see the viability in all of them surviving. So one might die on its own accord and the other one will survive, but it'll all come down to its process of selection, or natural selection as it says. So we've got ourselves a really good set so far of seeds. We've got our mystery pods that have been going well. Our Carolina Reaper plants are going absolutely swimmingly, but there's just one that I think I've got wrong. And we're taking a step back and maybe having to start again, but we're going to see how we go. There's always a chance to build and rebirth some of these seeds, and it's the homegrown the hydroponics lab. Now, I might have stuffed up, I'm not too sure. This is a learning process that we're all learning together, and that is that I did put the hydroponic nutrients and water into the hydroponic lab itself. In doing so, it's kept the soil nice and moist the whole way through, but what I'm thinking is I might have accidentally soaked it too much and it's just too wet for the soil to germinate. It needs a damp and warm area. So what I've done is I've drained the water out of the pods. I've left them still with their koi peat inside and the seeds to germinate inside. I'm going to let them try and dry out and ignore them and just let it do its own thing and see what happens. Now, they are in a sunny area, they're in a nice warm area. Unfortunately, the chili cat has been lurking around the area of where they are, so I'm a little bit worried about how much they're getting sun, if he's sitting on them or sleeping on them, and I'll show you a video of that happening shortly. But we're going to just keep them in the sun, let them dry out in the koi peat, get nice and warm, and hopefully that starts the germination process. Now, these ones are going to stay 100% underneath the grow light, which has been fantastic. When we've had overcast days, I've managed to put the Carolina Reaper plants in there, and as you've seen, we've got some successful second leaves. I've even got, in one of the Carolina Reaper plants, it's got 3 leaves on its first set of seeds. So I think that's going to be one of the stronger plants. I look forward to seeing that. So we've got quite a lot of seeding going on right now, which means we've got a lot of plants that are going to be coming, which means lots more chilies. So the question is going to be, what are we doing with all these chilies? So here's where we talk about the fun stuff. We've already laid it down into two things we want to do. We want to do hot sauces, and obviously we just want to grow the chilies. There are going to be other options we're going to do. We're going to try and dehydrate some of these chilies and turn them into some rubs for pork and steaks. We're going to try and make our chili salt, which will be cool. Our buckshot sauce, our buckshot barbecue sauce, which I cannot wait to make again. First one was super successful, and this one I just think is going to be even more successful because we're going to be doing it a different way. So I do my barbecue sauces in a whole process, including a bit of fermenting as well, so I cannot wait to do that. Obviously fermenting chilies, we're going to be doing pickling, so we see if we can pickle some. But then again, with the other thing we want to be doing is our Tabasco sauce too. So as you would have seen, McElhenny's Tabasco sauce is only made by 3 ingredients, which is the Tabascos themselves, the salt brine, and the vinegar. So we're going to see if we can do the exact same thing and replicate it to be close to the taste of the Tabasco sauce. Now, obviously they ferment theirs over 3 years, and I ferment mine over probably 2 weeks. So we won't know exactly how good the taste is going to be, whether it's a fermenting thing or whether it is just the way they've seasoned it. And we're going to do everything the same way they do theirs. So they use non-kosher salts, so they use like Himalayan rock salts and things like that. We're going to do the whole thing the same way and see if we can make it better, but we're adding a twist, and that is why we have started to bring in those herbs. The herbs are what's going to be taking in that extra flavor for our sauces. I want it to be a more earthy, more relaxed flavor to actually give you something to enjoy while taking the heat in too. I'm not here to burn your heads off. I'm not here to take anybody's throats out. The plan is to have a nice flavoursome sauce that we can make everybody's going to enjoy. So I can't wait to be making those in the not too distant future when the seeds start to grow out and the chilies start to produce. Now, on today's episode, we are talking about replanting some extra stuff. What's more sorts and seeds without more seeds and plants? This time though, we're doing things a little differently. We are replanting our marigolds. Now, the marigolds don't take much to do. We're going to be planting probably 4 marigolds. I probably should have laid down a table or a cloth under this thing so I don't make a mess, because I know that the soil's just going to go straight through these things. So I might take a quick break, and when we come back, I'll have the soil prepped, ready to go, and we can start talking about how we regerminate our marigold seeds. All right, when we come back, you'll be able to see what's going on the other side. Alrighty, welcome back. So I decided I need to put a cloth down because I made a lot of mess. But we do that in the House of Chili, and Mrs. Son of a Chunk is probably going to whoop my rear behind for making a mess, but I'm going to clean that, because that's what we do. You probably hear that in the background. That is the Seed of a Chunk, our latest addition to the family, which I did say I was going to talk about. For cool news this week, came a father for the first time, which is fantastic. Beautiful little girl who has arrived healthy, safe and sound. And she's been a lovely little bundle of joy. I can't wait for the Chunky Chili Dude to meet her next week when he comes down on his holiday and see us, and look forward to spending some chili family time together, which is going to be great. So let's get into these quickly before we wrap this video up, because if she's crying now, it means that Dad's got to go step in and then help out while Mum gets some well-deserved rest. So we got our pots ready to go. Soil started. I figured I was going to make a mess. Now, I'm going to put this up. We'll see if we can zoom in on the photo on this one too. But these are our pods. So this is our little pod for marigold. Now this is the flower bulb. Now inside a flower bulb to a marigold, it holds the seeds to replace. So what we're going to do is we take the dead flower, rip the flower head off, and then once you've ripped the top of the flower off, you'll have this little tiny bulb left over. If you pull the bulb back, you'll actually find these little tiny black seeds. Some of them won't be black, some of them will still be green. That means that they're not ready yet, and that's fine. So we just pop some over to dry out, which is perfectly okay. It just means that we can only get a handful done, and we don't need that many anyway. We can just do a couple, but if I just pull that aside, get rid of that one there. Not that that's going to do much damage, but anyway. And then I'm just going to grab the black ones out. And these black ones are the marigold seeds. And we're just going to plant those back in and let them germinate. Now, I think the way these have been, I think I'm going to pop these underneath the light, the grow light, just because I know that I really want to get these things firing up pretty quickly, especially for the front garden, which we're going to be restoring in a couple of days' time. and get that looking really pretty, because the house of chili needs to look like an actual house of chili rather than a abandoned shack at the front row of the garden. It hasn't been touched yet, and everybody keeps asking me when I'm going to do that one. It looks pretty good. I'll send you a photo, hopefully in this one or one of the shorts for the YouTube channel. So we've got our chili, we've got our chili seeds. We don't have chili seeds here. We've got our marigold seeds here. They're very, very simple. I'm just going to pop a pinky load of soil away. Nice and sweet and simple. And I'm just going to pop one seed in each one. There we go. I just got that. I did. 1 second. There we go. And then the maybe seeds, I'll put one in there, one in there. Now, if the seeds haven't darkened yet, don't stress. Just leave them out in the sun for a couple of days just to dry out, and they will start to turn into some proper seeds. So now we've just closed that up. Keep the seeds nice and locked in there. There we go. All right. And while I'm digging in the soil, so is the chili cat. So if you hear that scratching in the background, that is the chili cat scratching after he had some hot sauce of his own. All right, so then we're going to just quickly soak the soil in, get some nice moisture into this soil. Just going to do a quick cheat, then do spray, but rather just pour. I might do the old chef's hold. There we go. Nice and filled up. There we go. Now, soil's been pretty good to us. Obviously, we've been using the coir peat as well, but soil has been rather good to us as well. So we're going to keep between the two, the coir peat mix and the soil seeding mix, which is obviously this one here, the Yates soil seeding mix, which has been fantastic. Obviously, you can see the soil has been working perfectly for our seeds, and that means that we can transport them straight off the back because it's already got enough nutrients in it to just keep it going for the next few weeks until the soil's wrapped with the coir peat. Cut the coir peat, pop them away. As for the Carolina Reaper ones, we just have to introduce some extra nutrients. That's why I've got the NPK fertilizer. With the marigolds, we shouldn't need anything. It's got enough of the nutrients inside the seed starting kit, and I can already see some of the nutrients inside it. When they're sprouting ready to go, then we'll have some marigolds to plant, and hopefully when they're about this big and they start to flower, we can transport them into the garden and shouldn't have too much of a worry. So that'll do us today for this episode. Thank you so much for joining us. Let us know below what you're excited for the most. I definitely am excited for the mystery pods. Curious to see what they're going to be and what they turn out to be. And look forward to seeing what happens over the next few weeks. But even though we've got the Seed of a Chunk who has just graced us with their presence and is a week old today, I'm sure there's going to be a lot more content that we can do even amongst. That sounds like my cue to head off. Thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate you guys being here. Please like and subscribe to the video. And as the man himself says, on with the heat. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a great day. Catch you later.